Hopefully after lunch, that was an amazing lunch, and I had no idea that lasagna was vegan. It was not vegan, vegetarian, and that was really good. What?
It's not lasagna, it's a
I'm calling it lasagna because I'm...
Moussaka.
Moussaka? Okay, I gotta get that recipe. So anyways, I'm hoping I can feed your appetite on following up with what we ended off with which is the social media part. So I want to be showing you guys how we got traffic to our website. So before lunch, to recap, what I covered was all of the landing pages and the different elements that we use and what they look like and the ways you could use the landing page. Now, I'm going to say, okay, you've got your landing page created. Now how are you going to get traffic to that page? So I'm going to go deeper with Facebook and Instagram, and then we'll do Google later on. So before you start with Facebook, you need a profile. So you have to log into Facebook with a username and a password. That's called a Facebook profile. And you need a business page linked to it. You don't actually have to use your business page, you just have to have a business page. So if you log in with Facebook and you have a separate business page created, those are the two things you need. I would definitely do that first before you create the ad, because if you don't, you want to go through the process of creating the ad, and then at the end it's going to say you don't have a profile picture on your business page, and they're not going to basically run the ads for Instagram and a few other things. So you're better off, before you do any advertising, just make sure that you have a business page created, and it has your profile picture, and the About section has all your RICO info, and you're good to go. Just fill in all the blanks, okay? If you name your business page, I wouldn't name it like Dan Wood Realtor, because you don't own the word realtor. And if like a certain number of people like your page, then you can't change it anymore. So I would also never put your brand, because you might change brands. A lot of you were dedicated like 10 years ago to a certain brand, and now look where you are, you're at another company, possibly. So never put the brand in your page name, because if you get to like, I don't know what the number is, 500 likes or...
It's 500.
500?
500.
Yeah, so if you hit 500 likes, then you're not going to be able to change that branding. You're going to have to start a whole new page all over again. So just don't, keep it flexible, just keep your name, like Dan Wood Real Estate, Dan Wood Oshawa, like keep it local and flexible. So some frequently asked questions I get is, will people see my personal profile? So if you're doing advertising on Facebook, will people see the picture of you at the barbecue on the weekend with a beer in your hand? No, they won't. That's why you need a business page. That's the whole reason for the business page, is just to separate the two things. What's a good budget? $5 a day is basically the minimum. So on a monthly scale, 5 times 30 is 150. So you're probably looking at around 150 a month as a minimum if you were to be consistently advertising on Facebook. And some of you might even have a business page now, but you don't update it. Totally cool. If you look at my business page, I hardly touch the thing. I don't care if anybody likes it. It doesn't matter to me, because all I do is drive people away from Facebook and capture their name, phone number, and email. Because if I was to drive for likes, say you paid for 100 likes last week, and it cost like $1 a like. You just paid $100. Now, to market to those people, you have to repay again. You've got to repay and repay and repay. So, and you don't own these likes. So Facebook could be a dead dog in 10 years, and you just built up this platform that is garbage. Whereas people's emails have a longer longevity, and it integrates with other things. So I can use a person's email on Facebook and say, target all these people. But you can do that on Twitter as well. If you have an email list of your entire database, you can target everybody who's on Twitter that is just in your email database, and now you're marketing to them and only them, and not everybody. You couldn't do that if you were just getting likes, but you can if you get people's emails. So it's all about getting a person's email. So you can have a business page and not update it. I'm totally cool with that. I don't suggest people sit on Facebook between 2 and 3 on a Thursday, because that's the best time that people will see your stuff more. It has nothing to do with pumping out content and being somebody that you're not. You're an advertiser, so you can use Facebook just purely for advertising. But you need a business page. Now you can target on postal codes, which for the rural communities doesn't really matter so much, but for the bigger cities, it's a big deal. A couple of years ago, if I was to advertise in Toronto, it would be all the way from Etobicoke to Scarborough, and everybody in between. Well, now you can say just the people in these postal codes. So that's real, like, especially if any of you have a farming area, geographic farming, where you do a postcard mail out every month. You could say that postal code gets these messages on Facebook. So you could take that postcard that you're sending them and then send it to them digitally, as long as they're in that postal code over a certain age and living in that area, they will see your ads if they're on Facebook, whether they like your page or not. It has nothing to do with whether they like you. So you can target based on postal codes. You can leverage your database, which is the one I just said previous, and that's your emails. So you can take all of your emails in your, what's the database you guys use, by referral one?
It's based on old clients.
All clients. So you can export your all client email list and then load it into Facebook. And instead of targeting like the 150,000 people in Oshawa, I would be targeting like the 300 in my sphere. Just listed, just sold, just listed, just sold. And I'm going to be paying like 20 bucks instead of spending a couple $100 targeting the whole city. I'm just reinforcing with my sphere. That's why you guys do the monthly newsletter and stuff like that to leverage yourself. So your database. And finally, we can advertise on Instagram. This is newer last year, and definitely eyeballs are there. So whether you're using Instagram or not, doesn't matter. The consumers are. And like, I know you might get cross messages because you're also hearing people like, well, everybody is on Snapchat as well. Instagram is where it's at. Instagram and Facebook is where I would put my money. So I'm going to suggest those two to start off with, and then experiment with Snapchat and all these other things. But people are on Instagram. And because Instagram is owned by Facebook, you can target using the same demographics. So I can say, who are the people in these postal codes that are over this age? So now you don't have to worry about all the kids that are using it, because you're not targeting them. You're targeting all the new moms and all the new grandparents who are on Instagram, because that's how they have to watch the photos of the children growing up. So here's a map of Toronto. If I was to advertise in Toronto, it would be the whole thing, but now I can say just in the certain pockets. So say, for example, I had a luxury landing page that talked about the luxury house value market in Toronto. I could target just the postal codes that are the luxury areas in Toronto and target them specifically. Yeah?
And is that different than posting? Posting a post?
No. Everything that I'm about to say, everything that I'm talking about right now can be done through, and I'll show you, it's on the next...
Okay, I'll wait.
Okay, yeah.
I can only do by city when I can boost.
Okay, yeah, cool. I'll show you. That's coming up. So here's an email I send out to our entire database, so you're all client, you guys can do a mass email to your database, assuming. Yes. And you would send something that says, so here I say, hey, and the mail merges their name, so mail merge, Amy, Jeff, whatever the first name is. So, hey Jeff, it's Dan Wood, and we're updating the local house values. I'm reaching out because you might know somebody who is interested in selling in the next year, ... If so, please share this with them, or let me know who and I'll help. And then there's our landing page. So again, we're just reusing and leveraging the landing pages that we're using for our own marketing. I'm just going to use it for emailing our people. So say I email that to like 300, 500, 1,000 people in my database. I can take that email and then show them on Facebook the exact same ad that I just emailed people. So if I, especially any broker owners, managers in here, so if you email something to all of your agents and then the next week you say, did you get the email? And like 80% of them are going to say no. When they did, they just get so many emails, they didn't actually see it. Yeah, but if you did this, if you did this, if you took that email and channeled it on Facebook, it would be on their news feed regardless. They'd be scrolling through the news feed and they would see that. And if you ask the same question, I bet 80% would be like, oh yeah, I saw it on Facebook. Right? So we're just taking the message here and we're going to target them with an ad on Facebook. And you do that through the Facebook Power Editor. It's a custom audience. And we'll get to, that's what Andrew's going to do is create an ad live for you. And the very first part is to create an audience. And you literally copy and paste all of the emails in your database. And it's not 100%, it's like a 70%. So if you had 1,000 people in your database, you're probably looking at around 700-ish people that actually log into Facebook using that email. So if they log in using that email, that's who will see the ad. So here's an, if you don't know what Instagram looks like, it's an iPhone app or Android app, and it's a square image, typically. And one of the issues with Instagram is that the only thing you can do is like double tap, and it means you like it, like thumbing up, only it puts a heart on it. But you couldn't actually click anywhere. Like if I put a link to the landing page on Instagram, it would just be black text with no underline and not blue, and they couldn't, it's not hyperlinkable, it wouldn't work. But when you actually advertise on Instagram, it puts a button that says learn more, and it now becomes linkable. So now you can link people directly to, so you could target people in your I'll show you in your farm area, for example. So picture this, take a look at your farm area, set yourself up as a daily alert to any homes that get listed or sold in that pocket. Then every day you're going to get alerted to like a brand new listing, call that agent up and say, hey, can I do some advertising? They're going to say yeah. And then you just target everybody in that farm area, just listed, just sold, just listed, just sold, and you got a picture of the property, and then use Canva and throw your picture over top of it because it's your advertising. If your face isn't there, they're not going to necessarily know it's you who's advertising, so you're really trying to build the mind share of who you are and what you do. So whether you're getting clicks or not, you're still building the mind share, just listed, just sold, just listed, just sold. They're going to just think, man, this guy's like really killing it in this area. Even though they're seeing the other for sale signs in the yards, 3 years later, whose name are they going to remember?
Yours.
Yours, for sure. So just listed open houses. So if you have an open house coming up, you could say just the neighborhood around that open house and run an ad for a week, targeting everybody. An exclusive listing. You have an exclusive listing for a week, and you could do a neighborhood invite only. Bring everybody in the neighborhood to come out. And you would target people who are both on Facebook and on Instagram, who are in that postal code, who are over the age of 30 or 35 or something, and then other criteria that you can put. So getting started, all of it, everything I just said is all done from here, facebook.com/ads. Even the advertising on Instagram. So if you want to advertise on Instagram, you would still go here, facebook.com/ads. When you go to that, it's going to give you a list of options, boost post, clicks to website, video views, and Andrew is going to break down what each one means. So that is where you would boost the post. Never boost the post from your home. Like if you post something on your business page, as soon as you do, on the bottom right, it has a green button that says boost post. Never click that. So post it on your business page like you typically do, but don't hit the boost post. Come back here, facebook.com/ads, and then boost it that way. And by doing this, we can exclude all the realtors, we can target by postal code, we can do all sorts of things that you can't do the other way around.
And that's why I
Yeah.
was hitting on the
Yeah, so they make that, the reason I believe that they made that button green is because it makes them a ton of money. Just kidding. Okay, so make sure you're logged in. Yeah, make sure you're logged in under your profile that you want built. So if you have a shared device at home, like you and your spouse or you and your kids using the same computer, log in under your own account, because if you start creating ads, guess who's getting billed? Whoever is the last one person logged in. So just make sure that you're logged in, or you want to play.
Be our children, which be our
Yeah.
So we get my kids to pay my bills?
Yes. Yeah. Then you just have to build like allowance. And you have to have a basic business page created. So I've already covered that. And I jumped the gun. Do not ever boost the post on the business page. The term is still called boosting the post, which is valid, but you never want to do it on the actual page, hitting the green button. You want to go here, facebook.com/ads, and boost it that way. So Andrew's going to give a rundown in more detail here. The very first step is create a new custom audience. That's the very first thing here, and you would click that, and that is where you would copy and paste all of your emails from your database. It's the very first thing that you can do. And then once you do that, you'll save it as a name, you'll name it, and the next time you come in, you can choose an audience, and it'll be there, already done for you, so you don't have to re-upload it. And then Andrew's going to go down that in more detail, so I don't want to step on toes. So here's an example of a seller ad that we create. So the ad says, thinking of moving, question mark, the local house prices have changed this week, find out by how much, ... There's a image we made in Canva. I searched for that picture, I forget what I used, it was probably that Stock Unlimited. So I just typed in chart, and it came up with a whole bunch of charts, and that was a good one. I thought it was good, so I used it. So I made that up in Canva, and then, so I said, who are the people that live in our area? Oh, let me hit the back button. This is really important. Under the addresses, it says Canada. It's always like defaulted, so it's like 20 million people. You want to erase that because you don't want to target all of Canada. You're going to put like the city that you're targeting, or if you do by postal code, it's only the first 3 digits. It's not the entire thing. So it's not as small as we would like, but it's good enough.
Dan, what's DMA? What's that?
I don't know. Probably American thing.
Demographic metropolitan.
Probably American, because they also have zip. So
okay.
it's definitely whatever that is. But the point I brought back is it has everybody in this location. You want to change that to everybody who lives. in this location.
And that's one of the drop-down menus.
It's a drop down. That's that drop down right there.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason we do lives in this location is because if we did, like, I did Oshawa and just did a test, and it was like 10,000 people that it removed. Those are 10,000 people just traveling through. They're at like the Tim Hortons on their phone ordering coffee from pumping up gas and stuff. So because it's a real estate thing, I only want to target the people that live in that area. So that's what I did here. I targeted everybody who lives in Oshawa, Whitby, Pickering, Ajax, Brooklyn, who are over 35. You can do whatever age you want. I think 35 is almost kind of pushing it now because of how expensive prices are. I'd almost maybe even bump it up a little higher because your advertising dollar is going to get exhausted, so you might as well target the people that have equity, that have more money, like dual income, that sort of thing. So 35, yeah, people are buying when they're 24, but I would start at 35. If I'm the one who's going to be calling these internet leads and trying to convert them, unfortunately for me, I only speak English. So I can only so I would type in English and target only people who speak English, not because I don't want to speak with other races, it's just because I can't. So I'm not going to put my $5 a day into 3 people that I couldn't even talk to if they picked up the phone. So I'm going to target those 3 things, and maybe I'll target the people who are engaged. So those 4 things added up will bring it from 150,000 down to like 2,000 people.
Wow.
So those if there's 2,000 people on Facebook and I've only got 150 bucks to spend, I'm better off targeting the people who live in my city over 35, English and engaged, because they have a high chance of moving. Yeah.
If I have an ad on Facebook and I put a second ad on Facebook, is that now $10 a day, or is it the total $5 for the whole thing?
Yeah, Facebook, it's like Facebook is $5 per
ad.
Yeah. You can run an ad for a week and set a $40 budget lifetime and have it turn off.
I run lots of ads.
Right.
So, but I never, because I have a couple of web pages, Facebook pages.
For each Facebook ad, it's basically $5 a day is the minimum. Yeah. So this is an example of us targeting our sphere of influence. So it says North Oshawa bungalow with sliding glass walkout, attached garage, and more. Click for price. And then, because I'm targeting my sphere, I should have used Canva to put my photo on it, because I'm targeting my email list, and if they don't see my face, they won't know it's me who's advertising. So I'm targeting everybody who's on my email list, who's in the city. So I say in the city, because even though they're on the email list, a lot of my friends moved to Whistler, so that, like, it doesn't make sense for me to advertise to them anymore. So I still target the people based on city. And if they're on Instagram, it is going to make a duplicate of the ad on Instagram automatically, even if you don't have an Instagram account. You don't even have to have an Instagram account to target people on Instagram. So you can totally keep the 2 things separate if you want. It's just going to make a direct copy of it, and it's going to, it's not going to make it a square, it's going to be the same rectangle. So it'll be like a rectangle image, and then it'll have the button for the people to click. So if we're doing seminars, I know a few of you guys do investing seminars. So this one says, learn how to invest in local real estate, plus get a list of deals in Oshawa. So I target everybody in our city, and because Facebook, if you go to Facebook, let me back here. I don't want to back here. If I go to Facebook.com and look at me as a profile, it's going to say Dan Wood went to this school, is currently a coach. Likes these books, these TV shows. Like Facebook, the profile page has all that information. As advertisers, so when I log into Facebook on this computer, I see a lot of ads that relate to real estate and technology. If I log out and then my dad logs in, it's probably like a whole bunch of websites for like dating websites, because they're targeting older men. Nothing to do with what he'd be looking for, but they're just targeting based on the age, because it's a different age logged in. And then if a woman logs in, it's going to target like diet stuff. It's just based on the profile of who that person is. So I targeted people in my city who are their job title. I said, who's a handyman or a contractor, plumbing, electrical, roofer, drywall, painter, and I typed in all the fix and flip people that would have the ability to actually fix and flip a property. And then I drove them to a landing page about our power sale tour that we had, where we drive around looking at power sales. I also targeted all the people based on if they liked the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books, any of the TV shows, Property Ladder, Fix It and Flip It, like they're all brainwashed on the opportunity they missed last week. Right? So I'm here to show them this weekend what's available in Oshawa. And they are telling Facebook what they like, so we can target people based on that.
So you're targeting flippant groupies.
Yeah.
The ones that are brainwashed and stupid.
That,
And sell them a lot.
that, and a lot of people will even on Facebook say that they're a real estate investor, and I'll target them as well. Totally, that's a better one
Why
maybe.
not?
Okay, so no more for seminars. It says buying your first home in Oshawa, question mark, learn how to do it, discover financing, and get a game plan. And we had like a mortgage specialist partner up, and they covered half of the bill, which was awesome.
Beautiful.
And we would partner up and do this seminar, so we target everybody in our city who are expecting parents. So this is a good one at the back for, it's creepy that Facebook knows who is expecting a baby. It hasn't even popped yet, and Facebook knows.
It's expectant. We all are parents.
Yeah, I'm not expecting any parents, but I already got
Expectant,
some.
it's just the wrong word.
Oh,
Word.
okay.
That's an editor over there. He is an
I
editor.
thought he was going into the baby's minds before they were born.
Yeah.
So the baby is.
They decided who's going to be their parents.
The baby's expecting to have parents.
Yes. It's
You've
Or
used the
one
wrong
anyway.
word.
just
Expecting to have a
expectant.
mom.
Well, Facebook knows who's going to be having a baby, and you can target based on it. Yeah. So, and it also knows if you do have a kid what the age range is. So you could say, I want to target kids that are 18 to 24, or I want to target like 3 to 5-year-olds. So you can, not the 3 to 5-year-olds, the parent of a 3 to 5-year-old. So I targeted all the people who are expecting that they're going to be having a baby. They're haven't popped yet, and they're living in our city. Another example of us doing that was the students. So we targeted anybody who liked the Durham College or the University of Ontario. So if you liked that page, you would see our ad. Then we excluded everybody who was in Oshawa, because they already live in the city. They're in their parents' basement. They don't need a rental or anything. So we drove them to a landing page, and it was a video. It was just really ghetto. It was years ago, before video was really good. And I did it standing up in my office, and I said, hey guys and gals. So I had a web camera. But I'm like, hey guys and gals, we got an upcoming webinar, and I'm going to show you and your parents how they can buy you a property. You're going to live in it for 5 years for free, and whether you graduate or not, you're going to get out ahead. I'm going to give you a list of all the homes that you can rent as a student rental, and just fill in the form below to get started. It's totally free information gathering. And we targeted everybody who liked the school. We sold half a dozen or more properties that way, just in the student housing area of North Oshawa. Because we targeted the upcoming school year of all the people who like the two schools but don't live in Oshawa.
Wow.
So people from all over Ontario, Canada, and the world, we were targeting them, and their parents were buying them rental properties, for sure. So if you're hiring, you're growing a team, so it says join a growing real estate team in Oshawa, assistants and licensed agents needed. So we targeted everybody who's in our city who likes a real estate related page. So if a person likes Brian Bufferi, Richard Robbins, what did I say? Brian Buffini.
Yeah.
So if anybody likes Brian Buffini, Mike Ferry, yeah, any of the coaches, if anybody likes Rico, they're a realtor. Like nobody, the public doesn't even know what that is.
Yeah.
So I could say any of these real estate related business pages, and now I know I'm probably going to be reaching real estate agents with my ad. So you can target them with messages. Yeah.
There's real estate agents that like Rico.
Yeah. Yeah. You can literally just type in.
.com or whatever.
When you start typing it, it'll be a drop down, and you pick it, and then you type the next one, pick it, next one, pick it, next one, pick it, and you can even type their job. So the previous example was me targeting their job title, so the handyman. Same thing with real estate. I could type in real estate agent, realtor, real estate sales, real estate associate, real estate broker, and all those different job titles, and I could create an audience targeting them that way. You can also
omit them the same way.
and the same way. So that's the, you can exclude based on the exact same thing. Absolutely. And you can save it as an exclusion so that the next time you create an ad, you don't have to retype it. So that one for sure. So I targeted all the people who live in our area that are like anything to do with real estate, either say that they're a realtor, or the other good one was went to AREA, their school. They're a realtor. They went to AREA, hopefully. And so anyways, target the people that way. And then we also said assistants and licensed agents needed, because we were just building a database for when we need them in the future. So even though we may have only been hiring a buyer agent, we were still advertising for the admin, because technically you don't want to hire a person when they're looking for a job, because they're looking for a job for a reason. The roundabout way of saying it is like true talent is usually doing something with their abilities, right? So what you want to do is find the people who are currently working in that area, but the time isn't right for them, and you just start building relationships. I think those are higher quality people to like bring onto your team than somebody who's immediately looking for a job now. But I've been totally looking for jobs when I was younger, and I was good talent, so that's just a loose thing to say. But anyways, I would still advertise assistants and licensed agents and attract both. That way I would start building a waiting list for the future, so to say. So I'm going to email you this. You can take a picture if you want, but the Canva thing is going to create this for you, essentially. But it's the recommended image size is 1200 by 628. That's how big the picture should be, and that way it doesn't get cropped, squished, or distorted. Your image can't include more than 20% text. And in fact, they've made a couple changes now where it's pretty much ideal that you don't have any text. You can have more than 20% text now, apparently, but they just really limit the visibility. So you're going to be paying more for less. They really don't want you putting text on your pictures. Because the consumers, they don't put text on their pictures. They just upload a photo of their kid eating a burger or playing soccer or whatever they're doing. There's no text on the photos. It's only the advertisers who do, so it kind of clutters up the screen. So they don't like that, so you pay more. Anyways, try and keep it at a maximum 20%. So if I hit the back button, see how it's just one line? Basically, one sentence is all you can fit. Like 3 or 4 words is ideal. The call to action, basically. If you were to put your logo, your contact info, and all that on the photo, it's going to not even get approved. You put all your Rico stuff down below in the typed part of the description of the photo. Don't put it on the photo. And you'll see on all my photos, even I go to the, so that one, this is 2 lines of text. So because it was 2 lines, it took up more of the screen, so I had to shrink it so it was a smaller font. So it's still now less than 20% of the image is text. Okay, now you might be saying I'm not a graphic designer. And if you're not, I kind of went into detail with Canva. Canva is it has all the templates already done for you, and you just drag and drop. It's a really good one. Pixlr, which we brushed on. It's a funny word to use for this. Anyways, it's like a free Photoshop. So if you have to do your own photo editing, like color correction, removing background images, like cropping you out and stuff, Pixlr is a free version. And then I talked about outsourcing on Fiverr. So this isn't a good example of outsourcing on Fiverr. So remember I said when you get a brand new listing, what we would do is create a marketing kit. So I went on to Fiverr or Upwork, and I had them create a marketing kit. And this is what my marketing kit consisted of: a Facebook banner cover and a page post, because they're 2 different sizes, an Instagram image, a video, feature sheets, a blog, and classified ads. Once we had this like phony listing made up with our branding and everything we wanted, then oh, and it also had just listed, open house, just sold. So all those sizes and everything done for each of the different stages of the process. Once I had this whole kit saved as a template, then when I got a brand new listing, we would go get the virtual photographer. They'd come through and take all the photography and email us the photos. I literally just forward that folder of the photos to the graphic designer and the description of the MLS. 24 hours later, all of that would be done for you for 20 bucks or roughly around that price.
Wow.
So it was better off than me spending like even 45 minutes of time. It just took time the first time to get somebody to set up the templates for me that I was happy with. And then once we did, I just used that person over and over. And I don't pay them hourly. I just pay them when it's project work. So whenever I get that, 20 bucks flat, 20 bucks flat. It's a win-win because they got it down to a system where they're not just doing me in that hour, they're doing my stuff, plus they're doing other people, so they're making really good money too. So we're going to go that was more of like a theory stuff on Facebook, and now we're going to actually get right into Facebook. Andrew, if you want to come up and do that part. So this is where we'll actually
I had to do it using lead pages. That's what I use to build most of my landing pages. It's leadpages.net, not .com. So the reason I use this is really easy to use. Everything's mobile friendly. And I believe the base version is $25 a month, American, and the next one up is $50 a month, American, if you pay for a year up front. But for me, it's great to use. There's also companies like Unbounce. More expensive, it's Canadian though. My issue with Unbounce, and I did use it for a while as well, is you might change something on like the desktop version, and then it messes up everything you have for the mobile view. And then you go to change something in the mobile view, and it messes things up on the desktop version. So it's a much techier platform, and you need a lot more patience, and you might then eventually, scrap the entire page and start over because you can't seem to get them to line up. This doesn't have that issue. Whatever you do on one works perfectly on both. But there's also less flexibility. They do have a drag and drop builder that's in beta mode that'll give you more flexibility, but it's in beta mode. There's issues with it. You're basically working through the bugs with them to make it a better product. But the main product's really good. The text thing that we did earlier, whereas a text add checklist to this phone number, I built that through here. So you can do that, and then you can also build other things for your site. So instead of just like a page, like who here has like a blog that they use? You can use one here, it's called Leadbox. And basically what it is, you can put a button on any blog post you write, and people just click on the button and it'll pop up a contact form. So you can do things like that. You can also just make it like a hyperlink. So it looks like, click here to do this, and it'll pop up a contact form. So there's a lot of little things you can use to embed into other things that you're using. But the main offering are the landing pages.
What's the name of the website?
Leadpages.net. So one of the other nice things that you can do here is you can sort by which other pages actually converts the most. So they gather the stats out of everybody using the program and the templates they're using to see which ones have the highest conversion rates. So if I just click on that, it'll show you which ones. Now, you gotta remember, mostly people use it for like webinars. So the webinars are obviously right here at the top, but the one that I use quite a bit is this one here. So it's this orange one. I'm not going to use it for this one because we're going to do a home evaluation one. But what's nice about this is it has a countdown timer on it. I always recommend using a countdown timer when you can, because it does help kind of create a sense of urgency. So for instance, if you're doing an ad for a house, do a countdown time for this is when we're doing the next open house, or something like that, and it helps kind of push conversion through a bit. I'll just find, there's even specific ones for real estate. Actually this one too here, which is hard to see, this is one I use a lot if I have ebook giveaways or anything like that. Very quick, very easy to do. But I'll go through and find the home valuation one. Right here. So I'll just use this template. Wait for it to load. Okay. So you can see here, this is the page. And what's nice is at the top here, you can actually sort it by how it's going to look on different devices. So I can switch to tablet. That's how it's going to look on a tablet. And then this is how it'll look on their phone. So you can see pretty quickly. So a lot of the time I actually prefer to not have a logo here. Because like for instance, if I go grab one from someone, okay, grab the Remax one for example. It gets bigger, so when you go on your phone, I find that's kind of too much space sometimes to take up. So I'd rather not have that space taken up there. So what you can do is just click on the gear, hide it, and it's gone. So it depends on like the logos you have. Some aren't bad, some are worse than others in terms of like space they're taking up. But I often just prefer to get rid of it altogether. So when you're building your ad program, and I'm going to go Facebook ad to target to this, you also want to think about the language you're going to use in your Facebook ad. So if we're going to say, what's my house worth here, you've got to say, what's my house worth in the ad. But I'm actually going to go with selling your home instead, because you want to try and cut down on people who are just curious about the value. So I always change this one. Something like that, get a free, and then I say, custom made, quote, delivered It's that easy. You just click and you can start typing right on the page. And then when you're ready, get my house value now. So and that's one thing you want to note is instead of saying like submit, things like that, use language that's as if they're the one talking. So like, yes, send me my guide. Yes, send me my house's value. Stuff like that. Use that language that implies them taking action, and you'll find that your conversion rate's a little bit better as well. Whereas if it's you telling them like, do this and I'll send this, that language isn't as effective at a conversion standpoint. And then obviously down here, you're going to want to put your RICO information, but I'll just put in some, put mine. Then you put my disclaimer. Okay. And then you can go into the contact form just by clicking on the actual button itself. Then you have to choose the email it goes to, but most of you that'll just have one email. So you can actually, for different, if you have like a team, you can actually specify who it goes to each time. If you want it to go to multiple people, the way it's set up right now, and they're apparently working on changing this, is you only send it to one email at a time. So if you want the same lead to go to 3 or 4 people, what I'll do is I'll set up a Gmail account. So I actually have one that's called leads@justsellhomes.com, and anything that comes for that gets addressed. So I use it for one specific team that I work with. And anytime an email comes in from lead pages to that email address, it then gets forwarded to 4 different people. So you can just, that's kind of the workaround I use if I want it to go to multiple groups. If your CRM allows you to create a custom form that you can embed on your site, you can actually just embed it here as well, and then it feeds right into your CRM. So you can have it go right into your CRM instead of being like an email notification. I like to get rid of the image. I find that my conversion rate's a lot higher if I get rid of that image on the side. It takes up room, and especially on mobile, that's where you'll see that that really takes up a lot of the space because it shows the image first, then the text here, and then the form. So I just get rid of the image altogether. And then you just come in, you can change the information here. So one that I've actually found good success with, instead of submit, I say yes, send me the value of my home.
Do anybody think it would be beneficial if we actually kind of did it as well? Because if you look around the room, most of us are gone.
Yeah, Andrew?
Yeah.
I just need to step back a bit because the segue between what Dan was doing and what you're doing, I kind of got lost.
Okay.
And I didn't know if you're doing a marketing kit or those are templates for just landing pages.
So this is a landing page that we're going to do a Facebook ad for in a second.
Oh,
So I'm just setting up something to send the ad to.
So what you were showing us before are templates of landing pages?
Yeah.
Is that what, okay.
Yeah. And now we'll build a Facebook ad to send traffic here. I'm just setting it up right now to do it. So like once you get the hang of this, like you could get the landing page ready for a new campaign in 10 minutes. So it's really fast to do.
But is the whole point, I'm just asking a question, is the point for us to learn how to do this?
So right
Are you
next to
teaching us
this,
how to do this, or you're going to
so I'm
do
gonna,
it and
that's
just
the
show us
Facebook
what?
side of it is I'm going to really walk you through step by step, but for this, because you have to buy an account.
This is out of my league to begin with, so I'm just
So
trying
because
to
you have to
figure
buy
out.
an account for this, I'm not expecting anyone to like
Oh, okay.
follow along as I do it.
Okay,
But for the Facebook ads, you can.
because I'm just looking at us all, and I thought I was the only one clued out until I checked around. And
Well, I'm almost done this, and then we'll get right into the Facebook ads, which you can actually follow along step by step, but it'll make more sense that side of it.
okay.
But this, because you have to buy it, I never expect people to follow along, because there might only be 1 or 2 people who've already bought one.
So this is a landing page that we would need for an ad if we did it on Facebook.
Yeah, so you could use anything. You can use Google Forms, you can use a page on your website. Like if anyone here has like Agent Locator, they have built-in landing pages already. You just grab that URL and you're already good to go.
Okay.
This is if you don't have something, or if you have a very specific kind of campaign that you're running. Like you want to do it for a specific listing, or you built your own custom ebook or something like that. You can go and build a landing page on here really quick.
I know, that's why I'm saying, do I need to do this? And then I realized when he said it's just building a landing page.
Saying, my clients on by referral only can build landing pages.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, yeah. So if you've already got the my clients,
No, I know, that's what we just, literally, we just,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so if you
But I
don't
didn't
have a tool
understand.
that can do it, yeah. So this is just a tool you can use to build a landing page quickly. So if you already have something you can use, then that works too.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of the options. So I'll just finish this up quick and then.
But the principles apply to all. So like talking about the yes, sign me up type of stuff, you can use that on anything you're making. So the how-to on this actual program doesn't really matter. It's more so of like using these colors, removing the logos, the layout stuff. That'll apply to any program that you're using.
Dan, to be quite honest, I'd write a check before I did this. Really, honest to God, I would. I'd go sell another house, have it all paid for, write a check.
Yeah. So there's a lot of companies too, like, so they actually have, like, you can go in, they have like a marketplace where you can buy pre-made templates, and a lot of them are real estate specific as well. So you can spend like an extra $20 here and there, and it'll come with a pre-made template. That's it's made for real estate.
upselling your services, You didn't get it, I just said I'd write the check.
You can hire me, you can hire Dan.
Yes. I do it.
Obviously, ain't us.
Now we gotta start discounting, instead of $20, it's $19.95.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So once you have this ready, and so if anyone has like a question.
Is there a benefit to using this as opposed to if you have a WordPress website?
So this actually has a WordPress plugin. You can publish these pages on your site if you have a WordPress site.
Okay, that's good to know, thank you.
Yeah, because like right now, if you're using a tool like Lead Pages, the base URL for it is, for instance, mine, justsellhomes.leadpages.co / the name of the page.
Right.
If you have a WordPress site, you can just have yourdomainname.com / the name of the page, and it'll publish right onto your site.
So that's just a plugin for WordPress?
Yeah, so you would just in the plugin section search for Lead Pages and
Perfect.
then install it.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
If you had a WordPress site, then you just create a post,
Yeah.
a form in it, and just link to that too, right?
Yeah, again, so the reason you use this is these pages convert higher than most of those would. And they're pre-built and easy to do, and you just quickly publish them onto your website. So like majority of my campaigns end up using something off of Lead Pages. But we'll build an ad. So when you go to Facebook, you want to make sure that you go to create ads here. Don't just go to like your page and hit boost post. If you hit boost post, you don't have a lot of targeting options available, and it's not going to be as effective as if you actually go through the ads manager. So at the very least, go to the ads manager. The next step up, which we won't talk about today, is the power editor. The power editor is the next level of advanced ads, and normally what happens is anytime there's a new feature that comes out for Facebook ads, they do it first in the power editor, and then after a while of testing it with power users, then they release it in ads manager. Like there was a long time where you could only do Instagram ads through the power editor. Now you can do it through the ads manager. So it really just depends on what you're doing. And there's different types of ads. So here is boost your post. So if you do want to boost the post on your page, go through the ads manager and click on here to do it instead of just clicking boost post. You'll have more options. Here's promote your page. I never do that because that's basically just to get page likes, and quite frankly I don't care at all about page likes. It has little to no value, especially I find in real estate. The most of like the likes on it are friends, family, and other agents. And generally that's not who you're running ads to most of the time. So I don't ever advertise to like people who like my page. I don't try to get more page likes. So I don't worry about it at all. The one from like a especially beginner perspective I'd use most of the time is send people to your website. So basically it's optimizing the ad just to get people to click on your ad and come to your site. That's the one we're going to use today, and the one that I recommend at the beginner until you get a little more comfortable, the one you use.
Andrew, quickly, can you just show us where to find what you're talking about?
You get to it from your business page, you have to log in.
So when there's a couple of different ways. The easiest way at the top right when you log into your personal Facebook, you know there's a little drop down arrow in the very top right.
Yeah.
Click on that, and then go down and click create ads.
Create. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So on your Facebook
You can also
page,
go to facebook.com/ads.
So where do you, the drop down arrow?
Yeah,
Drop
top
down
right.
there to the far right.
Got it.
Click on that.
Oh,
and
create ads, I see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
not manage ads, create ads.
Create ad. Yeah. And that'll take you here.
Yeah, because it's not the same page as the one when you go to the website, like the links that Dan just
So
gave.
that, so right, Facebook's also doing is launching called Business Manager, which is another way to manage ads, which is kind of what'll be here, but that's another thing that's like power users started with it. So like I've had Business Manager for a year. Most people have only had access to it for the past couple months, but it's coming where you'll see some changes again. Increasing conversions on your site is another way you can do ads. It's a little more complicated to set up. So what you do is Facebook gives you a pixel, which is really just a couple lines of code. And what you take that code is you embed it on your thank you page. And anytime someone goes to your thank you page, then you get charged for the ad. So you don't pay until someone opts into your offer. It's a little bit more complicated to set up. I found for the most part, the cost ends up being pretty similar to clicks to your website. You're just paying at a different time. But then it's easier for some people then to track conversion rates because it'll actually tell you cost per conversion as opposed to cost per click. But I found overall it hasn't been a ton of difference in the actual performance of the ad itself. A lot of these you don't need to do. Videos, if you have a video, those are they do really well in ads.
Okay.
Like you can get to thousands of people for relatively cheap. So I recommend if you have a video, go through here, get video views as opposed to boosting a post with a video in it. And then there's one here, collect leads for your business. What that does, it actually eliminates the need for landing pages altogether. So what it does is you click on that, if you build an ad through that, and basically a pop-up comes up saying, you know, here's your information that you've given Facebook. So it pulls up name, email, and phone number that they have on their Facebook account, says, do you want to submit this information to the person running the ad? So it basically completely gets rid of any need for a landing page at all. But there's downsides to it. If you don't have like one of the CRMs or integrations that's with it, then you basically have to go to your business page and export the list to see the leads that are there.
What are the CRMs that are?
It's like the big ones like Salesforce, HubSpot, Marketo. Now, Zapier, I believe, has an integration that will allow you to export it to MailChimp. You'd have to double check, and it's in the premium version, so it's like the paid one, but Zapier does have an ability with lead ads to get you your leads. If you don't have one of those integrations though, all it's going to do is you have to go to your page and manually export like a CSV file of your leads, and it doesn't notify you when a new lead comes in. So your speed response time is going to drop a lot because you have to manually go check every time.
No, I'm with HubSpot.
Yeah.
But I just got them for tracking my email. Would I have to upgrade that?
Yeah, you need their actual CRM.
Okay.
So like I have that same program for my emails,
Yeah.
Sidekick,
Okay.
and yeah, it's not for that.
What would it cost me? Just
I'm not sure. I haven't used that version of HubSpot to be honest. But I've tested the collecting leads for my business. It does perform well. I haven't found in the past it hasn't performed remarkably better than any other ads that I've run. Once you actually break down the numbers, I found them to be relatively similar. I've heard lately they're getting better, and then there has been a lot of changes in what works in Facebook ads in the past couple months. So they're probably going to become more important down the road, 6 months, a year from now. So, but as they do that too, more integrations will come as well. So you'll have more access to it with kind of more regular CRMs that you might have. Because like Infusionsoft, which is a big one, is really expensive. So not most agents aren't going to pay for Infusionsoft.
When you mentioned the questions that get the video views,
yeah.
Do you have any recommendations there in terms of the length of the videos?
Depends on the video you're making.
Okay.
Like a property tour, you can do a couple minutes long.
Okay.
It's fine. If it's just like you giving tips, things like that, I keep it under a minute.
Yeah.
Really the biggest thing though, with Facebook videos especially, is 60 to 70% of people watch them without sound turned on. So you want to
watch the video without the sound?
Yeah, because like they're just scrolling through the newsfeed and they let it play. That's why you see now, especially on Facebook, there's so many that have captions in them or words in the actual title.
Because they're watching them while they're at work.
They're at work, they're in the bathroom, they're somewhere where they don't want someone knowing you're listening. And then, so yeah, really make sure that when you do a video for Facebook, you have text in it, And a reason
Also,
to
we
get
should
them
have
up.
a text in it so they could read the subtitle
Yeah.
or whatever.
So like, what you can do is you can go on like like Fiverr.com and pay someone $5-6, and they'll actually just come and caption your video for you, give you the caption file, and you upload it to Facebook. And then that'll allow you now to have that. So we'll go actually start building the ads. So sending people to your site. So first you just name your campaign. It's pretty easy. So I'll do start group test.
Actually, I think there's a way of all the videos can automatically be captioned. I heard that.
Yeah, that's a new feature they released. I haven't like tested it to see how accurate it is, but yeah, that's a new thing that Facebook's trying.
We can re-edit or have somebody re-edit after that, but I think there's a way of doing it.
Yeah, I haven't tested it, but I know that Facebook's recently done it.
Yeah.
So you want to choose location, so like we'll do up here just because it's easy.
Actually, there's a button right in Facebook. You click on it, and you caption it, and it'll automatically print it for you.
That's good.
Yeah, it's already there.
So I'll do Collingwood. So like the base one that they do as soon as you hit it is they do a 25-mile radius. It's normally too large, so I had to bring it down. If you target by city, the lowest radius you can do is 10 miles. But if you want to make it smaller, you can see in the bottom right there's the drop pin button here.
Yeah.
Click on that and you can move a pin even right next to where the other one is. And now you can drop that down even just to 1 mile. And the other advantage to that too is, like if I zoom out, you'll see I have the little circle here for the second pin and the larger one here. But the other thing I can do if I wanted is actually just now exclude this other section here. And say exclude this location within the bigger one. So I could be, like maybe there's a particular neighborhood I don't want to target. Like, is anyone familiar with Newmarket?
Yeah.
You know the dog patch? Yeah. So if I wanted to run an ad to that area of Newmarket and exclude the dog patch, I would just drop a pin on the dog patch, exclude that, and run an ad around it. So you can do little things like that as you want.
Cindy wants to know about the dog patch.
It's exactly what it sounds like. The patch of grass in your backyard where your dog pees and kills it. That's basically what we've named one neighborhood in Newmarket. A lot of like renters with but basement and upstairs are different renters, and it's like 8 people living in a 3-bedroom, and yeah, normally they're not the nicest. So. The dog patch.
It's changing.
Yeah. Well, they're trying. They've updated Davis Drive and all that. So. And like Dana's mentioned here, this button, you want to make sure you
send the property brothers in there.
So, here we go. Okay, so you have 3 options. People who live in this location, people recently in this location, and people traveling in this location. So people who live here obviously is an easy one because you want people who live in that area most of the time. But for instance here in Collingwood, a lot of your business might not come from people who live here. So you go people traveling here, and it's people who are in this location but don't live here. But the issue with this is I believe it'll even say the number, it's 200 kilometers away. So not everyone that you're targeting is actually 200 kilometers away. Because like Toronto's not actually that far in a straight line. So that's where some people all screw up. So like Muskoka's like just at that edge of it can work. And even then it depends on where in Muskoka. So, but like if you're in Ottawa targeting people traveling in Ottawa from Toronto, works really well. So I can do things like that. So like, it might be more effective, say in Collingwood, than just do people recently in this location. Because then you get people who have recently been in here. And you'll get some of the people who live here as well, but you can find other ways around that. And then, but we'll go people who live here. Oh, it doesn't have enough data on people there. So that, you'll see here on the side sometimes, if it does this and doesn't show you anything about your audience, it basically means they don't have enough data in this area to complete your audience, so you have to kind of go one step back up again. So that happens sometimes when you choose people who live here. So we're going to have to go back up. Oh, is it not? This one does not. Oh yeah, so it didn't allow me to exclude that area. Sometimes that happens, and it's annoying. There we go. So I can do people who live in this location, in this 10-mile radius of Collingwood, and I'm down now to 19,000 people. But if I'm targeting sellers, I'm going to move this up. So like for instance, what is the first lowest age that you'd say people start selling their home here?
80?
35. All right. So you go up to 35, and now we go up. So 35 to 65 plus. We're now down to 12,000 people that this ad might potentially target. And like Venture said, if you only speak English, you put in English here, and it hasn't actually moved it at all. Which in Toronto, it's different. If you put that in Toronto, you can sometimes cut another 5,000 to 10,000 people off. Up here, that doesn't change too much.
You can change it up.
Yeah, no, it didn't move anything. Sometimes I also do different ads depending on men or women. So if I want one just to go to women or one just to go to men. Like for instance, I have a client in Aspen, Colorado who sells, like one of his listings right now is 29.5 million. All his like male clients here, none of them have Facebook. Like we went and polled all of his past clients. None of the husbands had Facebook, most of the wives did. So now all our ads, we cut down and only target the wives.
Yeah.
Because none of the men are on there, so we'd rather get rid of those men off it anyways. So you can start talking to your audience too about, ask them like what ones are you on, who in your family is on it, so you can start learning where to target them. And then you have two options here now. For this is where you do demographic targeting. We'll say it's interests, and you can either put in here to like say what you want to target, or you can also exclude certain people as well. So what I also like to do especially is target like relationship status, because they're more likely to be married or in a relationship if they're going to be selling their home, separated, divorced. But the other trend with Facebook is just different. So when Facebook first came out, everybody put their relationship status on it. A lot of people now don't. So instead of targeting specific relationship statuses, I just exclude single people.
That's because they're temporary.
Yeah, it's not Facebook official yet. So like I'll come in, exclude single, and we now lost another 1,000 people off that list. And then you also want to exclude real estate agents, so I might go Canadian Real Estate Association.
CRA.
And it doesn't come up as Creo when you put in Creo all the time.
It doesn't?
No. So you get to do Real Estate Council of Ontario, because what it's doing is it's really basing it based on like the official pages too.
Right.
So you can do that. I found Inman News works really well as one of the excluding ones. So like now we're down to 10,000 people. So we're getting more and more off that list of people
So
who
you're
have
not
potential.
putting in to exclude real estate agents, you're people who visited these sites exclude.
So it's who like expressed interest basically in those pages and things like that. So you're choosing interests that only real estate agents would have. Because there's not too many consumers who are like, oh, I love the Real Estate Council of Ontario Facebook page. Like, they're not doing that. So you can look at specific things like Brian Buffini, Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry. No one else is liking those but real estate agents. So you exclude those. Yeah. Same with Priya, Aria, things like that. Yeah. They're the only ones. So maybe you'll get the odd person caught in that, but you'll get way more agents off of it, which can then stop you from actually having to pay a little bit more money. So it's always nice to exclude people who are just going to click on your ads to cost you money.
And nobody really likes Mike Ferry.
Well, there you go.
Really.
I've never met the guy.
Yeah, there is one guy, Mike Ferry.
Mike Ferry, he likes himself big time.
Tom Ferry, though.
Tom Ferry, Mike even in his presentation slams his own kid.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Right in his formal presentation, he slams his own kid.
So now we could like. So now it really depends on how, if you're happy with a number of 10,000 or not, and if you want to go further. So for instance, maybe I found that most of the people here who are selling also have adult children. So I could do parents, and then look, so like my options are parents with adult children, so like 18 to 26 years old, 13 to 18, 8 to 12, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, 1 to 2, or 0 to 12. So maybe now I want to get everyone with adult children as well. Now I'm down to 1,900 people with my ad. So in this area, this ad will only now target that, and it's a really effective ad. 1,900 people, you can easily hit everyone with a low budget. And now these are more likely sellers. The other way to do with your interest targeting is not to even think of it specifically relating to like real estate. So like up here, maybe you target people that expressed interest in Blue Mountain or something like that in the area. If I was targeting, say I was running a thing for like move-up buyers, so people who have like small kids who are going to need a bigger house, I'm not necessarily just going to target parents because not everybody lists their children on here. But what they will have probably done is maybe they've expressed interest in Babies R Us or something else that they would have expressed interest in because they have children. So think of that side of it. So what else would they have gone to, not real estate specific, that shows that they have children? Because it's not like some guy living downtown in Liberty Village who's 22 and going to the bar every night is going to do much about Babies R Us. So, yeah.
Excuse me, Andrew. I once went on to a website for, I was looking for a chair, and I went on to a designer website for this chair. And what I found afterwards is anytime I clicked on Google or somebody else's website, this banner would come up.
That's called retargeting. So you can do that. That's probably, it's more advanced than I normally do in days like this. I can explain how it works.
Because I didn't put in my email address, there was no contact information, but now I'm being targeted.
So basically what it is, it's called a retargeting code. And it's just a code that you embed on your website, so anyone who comes to it, it now tags them. You go back to Facebook, you're going to see an ad for that.
Yeah.
So for instance, and I actually even have this tool here. Oh, you can't see it, it's kind of on the side of it. This plugin I have right here, if I go on a page, it tells me if they have a Facebook retargeting pixel or not on the page. So I can actually, now every website I go to, I know if they have one. Some pages have 3, 4, or 5 of them. Because well, like some company will do like Huffington Post as an example. If I went and wrote an article for Huffington Post, I might negotiate with them to let me put my own retargeting pixel on that page. So anyone who read my article on it is now going to get retargeted with ads by me.
So is that chair designer being, is he being charged for every time that ad appears to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the conversion rate on those type of ads are way bigger.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily paying every time you see the ad, it's if you click on the ad. Depends on how he has set up. So he could also set it up so that he doesn't pay now till you click on the ad and then buy the chair.
Oh, okay.
It really depends on how they've set it up. But you can do that, but they convert a lot better. Or like the blog post when I was talking this morning about like, do one about schools. Well, not everybody's going to opt in when they go to your page about the school and say, yeah, I want to buy a home in that area. But now you're retargeting them because they've been to a page of your site and hit by your retargeting pixel. When they go back to Facebook now you can start showing them more ads. And you already know a bit about what they're interested in. So you can now make it even more relevant. You can also upload, if you have a CRM and you can get all the email addresses, upload all the email addresses to Facebook, and you can target them anytime they log on to Facebook with that email address. So you can target your entire database with ads and only to them. There's actually a little trick there. You can actually target one person at a time if you want. So technically the Facebook rules are you can target minimum 20 people. But what you do, say you have like a seller who's really on your case about like, I'm not seeing ads for my property and they're getting annoyed about it. Upload their email address, so say it's like the husband, upload the husband's email address, and then upload the email addresses of 19 women. And then only target the ad to men. So then when he logs on, every time that person goes on Facebook, they're going to be hit with ads about their property nonstop. So to them, it looks like you're doing everything. Really should then see it. Yeah.
Do we put those emails in, that's when they create the audience?
Not here, no. So this is going to be, if we have time, I can go back and show you after. It's in a custom audience section.